Hi, I'm Belinda Scarlett. I'm Curator of Women in Football at the National Football Museum, and I'm here today with Hannah Eugene, who is an artist and has recently lent a painting of hers of Raheem Sterling, which is currently on display at the National Football Museum. And I'm here to chat to Hannah about her influences, what she wants to achieve in her art, and a little bit more about the painting itself and what inspired it. So, Hannah, thanks for coming. Please, can you tell us a little bit about how you trained as an artist and developed your style?
I'd say from as young as I can remember, I've always been interested in art. I can vividly remember randomly asking my dad, can you draw me a puppy? Because I wasn't actually allowed a pet. So he did, and it was amazing. So from then, I thought, either I want to be as good or even better. So it was a little competition, I'd say. And from then, I've just always loved art.
And what are your artistic influences?
My artist influences range from Jenny Saville to Cara Walker, Kehinde Wiley, so many, because I love the vivid paintings that they use in their art.
And where did you train to be an artist?
So I went to Brighton University, did an illustration and graphic design degree, and I learned a lot because it was quite broad as well. So there was scope to do graphic design, photography, and I definitely say that from that, I was able to branch into wanting to paint.
Yeah, so your work, or at least the Raheem Sterling painting, to me looks like it's very much influenced by sort of traditional fine art approaches to portrait painting. How did that sort of work come about and that sort of style?
I've always been interested in photorealism from a very young age. Although I broadened my horizons and went into fashion and graphic design, that still remained the same. So as I got older, I did loads of different pathways in the creative field that I still wanted to capture paintings in my work, definitely. And so I thought, why not? I didn't want to live my life and think, oh, I could have done that and I didn't.
Yeah.
So
what are you trying to achieve with your art?
For me, because there's been so many experiences from different walks of life, capturing the experience of young Black professionals from men and women is very important, because I feel like that's something that isn't spoken about enough. So I definitely believe that you can reach a level of achievement or success in life, but then still feel as though you don't fit in. So that's something that I feel like is an experience that I've been through as well. So to capture that in my paintings, reflects on my experiences. And that's really important, just to open a conversation as well, without things being awkward. But through art, it can be very, easier, definitely.
Why have you chosen to represent football in your work?
So football is kind of like the nation's sweetheart, definitely sport, for sure. So to be able to use that would be able to echo what I'm trying to say as well, because there's so many footballers that have gone through that experience. So it does reflect on the theme that I'm trying to portray in my work.
And why did you choose to feature Raheem Sterling?
Raheem Sterling is just amazing. Yeah. Everything he does, from on the pitch and outside, he there's a lot of charity work as well, which I believe has gone unnoticed in the media. So they tend to highlight a lot of the negative things about Raheem Sterling. And I do believe that is quite unfair. So to capture him in a positive light was very important. And a way that people can reflect and remember his legacy as a footballer.
And have you ever featured any other footballers or football in other paintings that you've worked on?
I've actually never featured any other footballers in my paintings, so Raheem is a great start. Right. I feel like I've had quite a good response to my work from painting Raheem Sterling. So I definitely love to echo that and use other footballers in my work too.
To explore the subject of football a bit more, do you think you would do that?
Definitely. Yeah. And I do feel like that's a market that hasn't been, used that much. So yeah. I'd like to do that more.
I think football generally isn't considered worthy of something that you can represent through art.
Exactly.
So obviously here we're trying to change that perception.
Definitely.
That it's worthy of looking at through all different artistic ways, I suppose. And we have the Art of Football exhibition, which looks at lots of different types of art. I think, and I can't remember what the oldest one is, but people have been painting football or representing football for a long time. So it's really nice to see that that's carrying on, but also that it's tackling such important issues as well, because I don't think they've been covered by football art before, to my knowledge. So it's like the first time, really. I think that's great. And do you like football, and who do you support?
I love football. I have two brothers who are very much into football, so I support Man United. Whoop, whoop.
How did you end up supporting Man United?
I think it was just my family just supported Man United. Right. So I just grew up around that from young. So that hasn't really changed and won't change.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. What are you working on now, and what's the inspiration for work that you're creating at the moment?
At the moment, I'm working on a series of paintings, a lot of which are photorealistic, and they center around microaggressions when it comes to, the Black experience. And I've always been interested in history, and to portray that and reflect on things that I want to see is really important. And it's an interesting way to broaden horizons and create conversation. And I feel like art is a great way to start.
Can you explain a bit more about what your understanding of microaggressions are? Because I think that's a sort of terminology. Some people are familiar with it, but I think other people, especially from other generations, don't understand that terminology and how it relates to sort of Black experience at all. So could you explain what your understanding of that is and how you've chosen to display it?
Yeah, absolutely. So microaggressions can range from the smallest comments, such as like in the workplace, someone might say, "Oh, you're right for a Black girl," or just small things like that might just go over your head. But then when you start to think about it, you think, "Oh, that's a very weird thing to say." Or people might make a comment on your hair or your hairstyle. Those things can be deemed as a microaggression. So that's why I also wanted to have gollywogs in my paintings, and that reflected on those subjects.
And the stereotypes, I suppose,
absolutely,
around those.
Yeah.
So Raheem obviously has been criticised a lot for the way he behaves off the pitch, and other footballers, white footballers who've done similar things, haven't been criticised in the same way that he has. So would you say that's a type of microaggression, or it comes from the same place?
Yes, absolutely. Because it is clearly unfair how he has been treated, and how they tend to focus or highlight on all the negativity or negative things that he might do, because he is quite young, and there are other white players who are of the same age who might do things that are similar or maybe even worse, but those things aren't highlighted at all. So it's clear to see that there's a distinction between the attitude shown towards particular footballers.
Yeah, they're not given the room to make a mistake.
Exactly. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. How does it feel to have your artwork on display at the National Football Museum?
Well, it feels absolutely amazing. When I was approached, I thought, really? Okay, that's great. So the opportunity to be able to show my work and conjure up a conversation on microaggressions and racial inequality is really pivotal to the growth of many. And also just a representation as well is very key. So to be able to expand on that is important too.
Yeah, I think for us it's quite often about visibility. So
absolutely.
At the National Football Museum at the moment, or in lots of organisations that are around football, what you see there isn't you don't see a lot of Black people, you see less women. So for us, I think it's really great just to have the visibility increased on the gallery is something that's really important to us. So thank you for letting us do that as well. It's great.
Of course, no problem. Change is so important as well.
Do you have any advice for other women looking to have a career in art?
Yes, I have. I can say that I am still, within the realm of growing into the artist that I want to be, but it's definitely a journey.
Yeah.
But I feel as though if you continue to do what you love, then people will eventually see you.
Yeah.
So it's that consistency that is pivotal to growth. And we are out there. So you just need to look.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Would you say you've had any particularly negative experiences being a woman working in the sector or a black woman working in the sector? Is there anything you can, any advice you can give for women trying to really push through, and any sort of negativity they might experience from that?
I can say that in my experience, there might be times where you feel somewhat dismissed, but if you know where you want to go and you know your history, then there's no way of stopping you. And it's all about, that willingness to have an attitude of positivity.
Yeah.
You will come across negative, experiences, but that shouldn't deter you from the path that you want to continue going down. But yeah, just keep persevering. That's what I can say. And eventually you will be seen.
So what's your opinion on sort of women who work in football or in art being more louder, taking up more space and sort of overcompensating in a way for being pushed back? Do you agree with women like Megan Rapinoe, who were very much sort of, I'm a woman in football and I'm going to take up this space and I'm going to act sort of how I want, really. I'm not going to stand in the sidelines. How do you think that's a positive way to be as a minority of any kind in art or in football?
It is so important as women and also women of colour to be bold. And I know in certain industries, you might feel like there isn't enough space, but if you make that space, then there is scope for you to, be part of, that space as well. So,
And to influence.
Yeah, definitely to influence.
How important do you think it is that the National Football Museum tackle issues such as racism in football and society?
It is very important that the National Museum tackles these issues because it broadens people's horizons. Someone can just walk into a gallery and not expect to be, seeing work that really challenges perceptions. And it does. The power of art is significant. So we do have a responsibility to make a change and make a stand and take a risk because it's important to growth.
I really like that about taking a risk, because I think sometimes that's what museums are quite conservative overall in their approach to stuff. They need to take a risk and really alter people's perceptions when they come in. So they might not have come into a museum or this museum wanting to see a painting like yours, but actually that's what's going to maybe have an impact on them when they leave, or I'd like to think so anyway, definitely. So how has the public responded to your painting so far? Has it been on public display before now?
I have another painting as well as the one of Raheem Sterling, and this is just the beginning of a long series. And at first when I painted, I wasn't sure what to expect. I just painted and I thought, this is what I want to do. This is the change that I want to see. And it actually has had a great response. So it has helped me to want to, continue going down that avenue and striving for a change as well. So yeah, it's been really positive.
It has, good.
Yes.
Good. And has Raheem seen the painting? And if so, what was his response?
So about that, so I uploaded it on Instagram, the painting, and I uploaded it with no expectation because at the end of the day, this is what I want to do. And I'm doing it for myself and also for other people to be able to see it and, have that conversation. And it just so happened that he came across the painting on Instagram and he commented, "Wow." And that was
That's
enough.
Yeah.
That was enough to make my whole life.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah. So, it has been a really, really good response.
Okay, good. That's great. Yeah, I'm really glad that he likes it as well, because he's very active, isn't he, on social media? So yeah, to have that response from him is fantastic.